We don't have anybody from the extractive industries. However, we do have Keith Weed from Unilever, not saying anything about Unilever here, but just in principle, I tell you what somebody like Jeffrey Sachs, the Nobel Prize-winning economist, said when he talks about the lack of governance and corruption in places like in Africa, for instance, that corporations spread their dollars and in that way kind of provide a kind of fertile ground for corruption, aiding, abetting it in that way. I mean, what is your view on that?
I'd very much say that shouldn't be the case, and certainly companies like Unilever, we're signatory to the Global Compact. We have our own business ethics that people in the company, deep down in the company, sign up to. We're very much against anything to do with corruption, so I can very categorically say that isn't something that we would in any way support. What I can say, though, is when you talk about spreading the dollars, we do bring economic empowerment. We do bring health. We are an everyday consumer goods business. 2 billion people every day use our products. And in that, it is foodstuffs, it's hygiene, it's water, it's all the products that, in fact, help people have a better life.
All right, you spread your dollars in the sense that you make money, but you also benefit the communities. I want to ask Nick Velasquez from Diageo. Diageo makes a great deal of money, profits from its operations in Africa. Can you both make money from Africans but also help them in some way to meet their Millennium Development Goals?
Absolutely. We operate in about 40 different countries across Africa, selling great brands like Guinness and Johnnie Walker. Our business has pretty much doubled in the last 5 years, and it has benefited everybody in our system. We employ somewhere like 100,000 people. There'll be our own employees, the farmers we employ, the distributors. We pay taxes, we invest in skills development. So without question, I think that companies like ours make a meaningful contribution to the economic and social development. And beyond just making money for our stakeholders, I think the work that we do, whether it be in agriculture or in provision of clean water, also makes a direct impact in attaining the Millennium Development Goals.
Oh, you've had good plugs for both Unilever and Diageo here, haven't you? Telling us what you do. Charles Abou-Gray, the role of the private sector in actually helping alleviate hunger. Is there a role? Because many people would say that's actually a right, a human right, which should be provided by the government.
Yes, private sector is crucial when it works well, not just for generating the employment which provides the incomes for food, but also for ideas and innovation that can go into increased productivity, and other forms of direct support that is possible to bring poor people up, and so on. But it's not automatic. The purpose of private sector is basically to generate profits. So it is really important that governments put the rules in place to ensure that there is a balance between the generation of profits and the benefits that come with it and poverty alleviation, the reduction of poverty. One other thing, private sector and corruption. I think this is very important. One, there's an institution in Washington called the Global Financial Integrity that has been looking at corruption in a slightly much broader way. When a company tries to conceal its profits by either under-invoicing exports or over-invoicing imports, that is corruption. And the amount of money that goes out, the amount of money that is lost in this process is several times more than the amount of money lost by governments stealing money out.
All right. Esther Brimmer, in terms of accountability, the donor nations, America obviously always says we're the biggest humanitarian donor in the world and so on. You need accountability, don't you, for the money that you provide to many developing nations. Do you feel that you get that so that people know that this money is going to the right causes?
This is absolutely a crucial question. As my colleagues have already said on the panel, dealing with corruption really means dealing with the integrity of the system. And donor nations and recipient nations, all of us have a common interest in fighting corruption. Because in order for development to be sustainable, the money that goes to it needs to go to its intended purposes.
President Mutharika, I'm sorry to have to put this to you, but you know, of course, when people talk about corruption and the lack of governance, they do often look at what goes on in the continent of Africa. And you yourself, sir, have had criticisms about some of your expenditure, the fleet of Mercedeses you bought for some of your ministers, your own private luxury jet, that kind of thing. Do you accept that that looks bad